It's an animal agriculture school. They didn't want to hear my message. But I finally just said, look, you guys, you can heckle me as much as you want to. But this process of atherosclerosis, this hardening of the arteries that comes from a lifetime of eating meat and other animal products, it doesn't just cause heart attacks. It can also make you impotent. I had their complete attention for the rest of my life. And I'm not making this up, okay? Write this down. The male section is a hydraulic system that requires good blood supply in order to function. Are you with me? Okay. It was obviously devised on a Monday because things are going wrong with it all the time. And in the same way that if you don't get good blood supply to your heart, you have a heart attack. If you don't get blood supply to your brain, you have a stroke. If a man does not get good blood flow to his private parts, you have cable TV. So, anyway, at the end of my lecture, I had all these 10-gallon hats lined up for my power brown rice recipes. And anyway, so in our own research, we have shown that this kind of diet is terrific for so many things. It's good for people with diabetes. Folks with diabetes come in and they start with food. Watermelons are heavy? No, I'm not. Well, the first thing they discovered is that people with lower back pain tended to be smokers. How can that cause back pain? And then they did autopsy studies looking at the arteries to the back. And it turned out that smokers had very aggressive atherosclerosis and lost the arterial blood supply to some of the vertebrae. And the discs that were between the vertebrae started to degenerate. They got back pain. And then it became clear that the very first arteries to get blocked off, the very first arteries that you lose, the very first ones to get very narrowed, are not the arteries in your heart. They are the arteries to the lower back. And what I'm suggesting is that we have wear and tear to all parts of our body. But if you're on a healthy vegan diet that gives you good blood flow and good oxygen supply, you can heal from that wear and tear more easily. So it's surprising the number of things that can get better. Okay, but then when you explain to the patient or to your family members, this would be a good way to go, they will say to you, I believe you. I'm sure I'd be healthier if I do this. But if I go on a vegan diet, I'm going to have to live in the garage. People are going to divorce me. Nobody's going to talk to me. There's no way to eat, You know what I mean? Well, we have a way of introducing this diet that I have never seen anyone unable to do it. We break it into 2 steps. And the first step is don't change your diet yet. If you're thinking, maybe I could try this, the first step is just check out the possibilities. What I mean is, think about a breakfast, or a lunch, or a dinner that happens to have no animal products. And think about them, write them down. If you want to try something new, like veggie pizza, and you never had it, try it out. So all we're doing in the first week is trying out healthier options. By about 7 or 10 days, you got everything left. You know that you can have blueberry pancakes, or oatmeal with cinnamon raisins, or almond milk on your cornflakes. You know that you got your breakfast. And you know that if you go to Subway, they're more than happy to give you a veggie sub with no cheese and no meat. You know if you go to Taco Bell, not the pinnacle of culinary arts, but nonetheless, they'll make you a bean burrito. And you got the various choices, okay? And you can go to the fanciest Italian restaurant in town, and they'll give you pasta fagioli, or lentil soup, or minestrone, and angel hair pasta with artichoke hearts and wild oyster mushrooms and little tomato chunks, and it's okay. And then somebody points out that wine might be in the food group, whatever. Anyway, when you're ready, when you've got your list of things, then step 2 is to do a 3-week test drive. You're not swearing off anything forever, just 21 days. At the end of that period of time, 2 things will have happened. The first is you're healthier. You lose weight, your blood sugar better, you're feeling, your digestion is sorting itself out. But the second thing is that your tastes are starting to change in ways you didn't expect. And if you don't believe me, let me ask this group. How many of you ever switched from whole milk to low-fat milk or skim milk? Let me see hands. Okay, I'm not saying that skim milk is healthy, but how many made that change? at some point in your life. When you did, what was the skim milk like at first? Watery. How many of you eventually got used to the lower taste, lower fat taste? Okay. Did you ever go back and taste whole milk again? What was that like? Too thick. Okay. Your whole life it was perfect. But as soon as you get away from it, your taste buds physically change to prefer the lower fat taste. So when a person goes on a vegan diet, the first week it does seem too light. But, and you're going to think, I have to acquire a taste for folk music now. Okay. Break up the tie-dye, guys, I'm vegan. Okay. But you know, after a couple of weeks, it starts to make sense. And you discover that all your friends think you're cool. And this is when you discover books and recipes and new foods and all kinds of things. After 3 or 4 weeks, if you then went back and had a double bacon cheeseburger, you would discover I just passed that. Your tastes have physically changed and you now are in a different place. So, first of all, just take a week, check out the possibilities, see what you like. When you're ready, do it 21 days. It's going to change your life. And at that point, you can decide what you want to do. Don't burden yourself with, I am never, ever, ever going to have another, whatever you fill in the blank. Just for right now, make it a plan. And be careful about moderation. Sometimes you get inched into something, but at some point, put a fence between you and the things that are causing you harm. We learned about this with smoking. I hate to tell you this, but it's true. When I was an intern at the George Washington University Hospital, I used to go into the hospital gift shop and buy menthols. And I didn't feel so bad because my head of surgery was buying Marlboros. And anyway, we weren't idiots. We knew we had to quit, but we were taking our time doing it. And once we decided to quit smoking, we realized it is much, much easier to not do moderation. It's easier to just quit and put the cigarettes out and just decide I'm not going to have it. If you try and have it now and then, it brings you back. And I got to tell you, that's true of cheese also. Am I wrong? It smells like old socks, but it's calling your name. So just make sure it's out of the house and you don't hear it calling you. Because it's 70% fat, mostly saturated fat, high in sodium, high in cholesterol. If it were any worse, it would be Vaseline. It does not love you. So get those foods out of your life and you're going to do well. Okay, a few things that I just want to mention real quickly. Are some of you members of the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine? Thank you very much. If you're not, please come over. The booth is right over there. And we'd love to have you as part of our organization, whether you're a physician or not. We welcome everybody, and there's a lot that we need to do together. For example, right now a kid goes into school, and as well-meaning parents say, I really wish there was something vegan there. But you know what? There isn't. And that child's going to have cow's milk on his tray, even if that child is lactose intolerant and says, I'm going to spend the afternoon in the bathroom. I'm sorry, that's what we have here. That kid's going to have meat, and sometimes it's even the worst meats. It's the processed meats that we know clearly are linked not just to heart disease and to diabetes, but to things like colorectal cancer. And that's, in a school that wouldn't allow cigarettes within 500 yards, is feeding the foods that are going to cause cancer too. That's got to change. But you know what? Right now, if you're on Capitol Hill and you sit down with a member of Congress and say, can't we clean this up? The member of Congress will say, you're right. If kids ate in a healthier way, if we had vegetables and fruits and whole grains and beans and we threw out the meat, our kids would be healthier. By the time they get back to their office, there's a call from Omaha. Or there may be a call from Atlanta about Coca-Cola. Or the lobbies weigh in so heavily. Members of Congress are afraid because they think they're going to get voted out of office. Well, here's what I'm going to say. There are big food industries out there. They've got a lot of money. But you know what? There are more concerned parents and more concerned doctors and more concerned nurses and more concerned people in day-to-day life who want kids to be healthy. Our biggest problem is that we are quiet. We keep our mouths shut. We should be calling them up and say, I'm voting for you, and I want healthy food in school. Doctors right now don't learn much about nutrition. There was a bill in Congress called the Enrich Act, as in enriching education, and members of Congress are right now deciding whether it's worth teaching doctors about food. I'm not making this up. They are waiting for your call. There is a bill in Congress called Education and Training for Health, Eat for Health. And it would make every federally employed physician, like at the VA hospital, have to have 6 hours of continuing education every year on nutrition. And there are members of Congress thinking, should they or shouldn't they? They're on the fence. They need to hear from you. A couple other things I just want to mention. We are offering free classes, and if you come to our booth, we'll let you know about them. They're at our office on Wisconsin Avenue. On Tuesdays, we have a diabetes class. On Wednesdays, diabetes class in Spanish. We have free yoga, and we're having a weight loss class, all for free. We'd love to have you there. Please tell your reluctant spouses about it, too. And thank you. And the last thing I just wanted to mention is that we're starting a new clinic. And the reason that I'm doing that is it's going to be up on Wisconsin Avenue, and if you need a flu shot, we'll give you a flu shot. But what we're really doing is helping people, in addition to regular standard medical care, to take a good look at what helps them to change their diet in the best possible way. So we'll have doctors and dietitians. We're opening early in 2015. And if you'd let folks know about it, I'd really appreciate it. Because right now, I hear from so many people who say, my doctor doesn't know anything about nutrition. And not only will have doctors who live it and breathe it. You might, if you're on a perfectly healthy diet, this microphone sounds fine. What we've decided to do is set up a clinic where medical students and residents can come through and train with us and then carry that message back to wherever they are. So, I hope that you find all this information useful, and I hope that the tastes and the books and things that you have are helpful too. But keep in mind that the people who need this message the most are not here. There are 12-year-old kids and 72-year-old grandparents who never really learned about the power of food for health, let alone the power of food to help the environment, to make the world a safer place for animals, to make the world better all in all. You're empowered. You've got the strength. Let's make some noise. Let's spread it around. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. You're so amazing. So amazing. Dr. Barnard will be signing copies of his book at the PCRM tent right up there shortly, so you can go up and have your favorite book of his signed. We are going to have a cooking demo coming up, which is going to be really fantastic, by a group called Lighter at about 3:10. But first, I would like to introduce you to a really great friend to the veg community in D.C. Saurav, what was the president, he just recently gave up that position to let someone else have it, but he was the president of the Vegetarian Society of DC, and they are doing such incredible things. They are a Golden Apple sponsor of DC Veg Fest, which we thank him so much for. We couldn't do this without our sponsors, so he's going to tell you a little bit about what they do and how you can get involved.